Hello and welcome to the OpenZoo LangChain quickstart tutorial. My name is Ram and I'm the co-founder and CTO of OpenZoo. OpenZoo is a developer UX focused API to open source LLMs. If you don't already know what OpenZoo is, I suggest you start with the introduction video linked in the description below. We currently have a public API, which is what I'll be using for this tutorial, and an upcoming enterprise middleware solution for on-premises, private, and hybrid deployments. So let's get started. This is our landing page, OpenZoo.ai. Here you can quickly sign up for our alpha testing program and get an API key and $25 of free credits. And once you have the API key, you can go to our documentation site, this on the top right. If you click on docs, you're taken to our GitHub Python documentation, where you'll see instructions for getting started very quickly with OpenZoo. But today we're going to look at the first in a series of tutorials. OpenZoo loves LangChain. So if you click on this notebook, you will be taken to our notebook and you'll see a badge to open this in Colab, so you can get started immediately without having to do any installs on your local machine. While I get the first set of installs where I install LangChain and other requirements, I'll just talk through what we're going to look at today. So the purpose of OpenZoo is to seamlessly fit into your workflow without requiring you to change move away from your favorite frameworks or change the way you're already doing things. So we want to show that we work seamlessly with LangChain. We'll start with a simple chat use case. From here, we'll talk about how we work with prompt templates and handling message history, and finally using documents as part of the context for a conversation with a chatbot. All of this is taken directly from LangChain's own quick start tutorial. So this is just the OpenZoo version of that. So looks like our installs have completed. Let's just get through another set of simple installs and let's get started with basic chat usage. So to instantiate the LLM object, we just use LangChain's chat OpenAI wrapper. All you need to do is first replace the model name with the OpenZoo spec. So here the model we're going to use is a medium-sized chat model. Second, we have to replace the OpenAI API key field with the OpenZoo API key. This is a one-time key which I'm going to delete after this tutorial. And you also have to change the base URL to point to the OpenZoo base. So once you do that, you're good to go. And let's see a simple chat example. So you're a nice AI bot and the query is, I like tomatoes, what should I eat? And it just works out of the box. So just by changing those parameters, you're good to go with LangChain and OpenZoo. So I like tomatoes, what should I eat? And it suggests you can have a fresh and tangy caprese salad with ripe tomatoes. I don't know how to pronounce this word. Let's look at some prompt templates. So this should all be familiar to LangChain users out there. We first create a prompt template in a very simple chain using that prompt template. And if we do inference with this template now, and we basically say here's the context, here's a previous message from the history, which is translate this sentence from English to French, a la programming, and we actually provide the AI message, which is the translation, and then ask the bot again, what did you just say? So this is essentially testing if the bot has access to the chat history. So if you do this, you see that it works out of the box. In this case, it says I did not speak or say things out loud, but I did provide a text response. In my previous response, I translated the English sentence, I love programming, into French. So you can see that it correctly understands what the message history is. LangChain, of course, has a message history class to handle this more sort of extensively. So let's create a demo chat history of messages, which starts with hi, what's up, and um, to provide like a history for a chat message. Let's add this history to the previous chat. So what we're doing here is we are adding this translation message to this history that we've just created, and now we'll test um, the chatbot again, and it answers the English sentence "I love programming" can be translated into French as this. So, and once again we can add another question. We add this response to the chat history, and now we say, what did you just say? Once again testing its memory, and you'll see that it says, once again, I didn't say anything out loud, but what I did in the previous um, uh, uh, query was I translated "I love programming" into French. So this basically is a very quick demonstration of how seamlessly OpenZoo works with your favorite OpenZoo open source model using LangChain. Let's look at documents as a context to a conversation. So we have some more installations to do over here, basically a vector store. Let's get that going. And what we're going to do here is basically use LangChain docs as context for a conversation with a chatbot so that it can provide retrieval augmented generation answers to user queries. So we're going to pull the documentation for LangChain, and specifically the LangSmith documentation. So let's do that. This is just going to take a second. And what we do with the documentation, which is loaded into this data object, is we split it with some, without any overlap in this case, we split it into chunks, which we're going to embed into the vector store. This is standard retrieval augmentation generation workflows. So we create a standard embedding. Here we'll just use a simple sentence transformer embedding, and we'll create the vector store from the chunks that we created and our embedding function over here. So now our vector store has got this knowledge base uploaded into it. We'll start with a very simple test of the retriever. So we create a retriever and ask it to retrieve 4 chunks which are relevant to a question like how can LangSmith help with testing, and we see that it pulls out LangSmith docs in response from the vector store. So now that we have a retriever, we can create a document chain. So we create a question answering prompt. It just says, use the context to answer the questions, and we create this chain using the create stuff documents chain wrapper that LangChain provides. Using this document chain, we can create a retrieval chain. Again, this is the standard LangChain tutorial that we are following. So we create the retrieval chain using runnable pass-through. We assign it context and the document chain. So if we run this, we can then test the retrieval. So what we'll do is the same demo chat history that we had created above, we add a user message. How can LangSmith help with testing? And then run this chain to see if it can use the context that we just created in the vector DB to answer this question. So what you're going to get is the entire chat history over here. So as you'll see, it started with this chat history that we created, hi and what's up, and the translation of the sentence from English to French, and then the responses. And here we see our question. How can LangSmith help with testing? And you see that then the retriever actually sourced all these relevant documents, and then you finally get the answer. So based on the context provided, the LLM was able to answer the question, how can LangSmith help with testing? So this was a sort of whirlwind tour of how OpenZoo works seamlessly with the kind of functionality that LangChain gives you out of the box. Um, Please stay tuned to this YouTube channel. You're going to get a lot more tutorials coming up. And thank you for listening. Cheers.